Can you hear me now? All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome. Thanks for coming. I'm going to be the moderator and keep everybody in line, right? That's not going to be an issue, so we're all going to, yeah. So again, honestly, thank you for coming. It's very important. Like I said, this isn't a debate. This is a meet the candidates, so we're going to, be able to hear everybody's ideas and answer questions. Just some of the format, we're going to go ahead and start. We'll allow each candidate to give us an elevator speech just on, their experience, their family, their education, just about who they are, not drag it out. And we'll go right on down through that, and then we will get into questions from the audience. Please get up and go to the mic. This is recorded, so it's important for everybody to be able to watch it at home, that they can hear us. So you need to talk into a mic and keep all the secondary conversations to a minimum so we don't have a lot of background noise. If you didn't get an opportunity, there's footprints in the back. That's good to have. That's got all their bios in it, all their lovely mug shots. So if you want to put a name with a face and get that information, they're on the back counter there. Please grab one so you have one. So that's we'll do that first, and then we'll take all the questions from the audience. We'll go through that process, and then we'll give them an opportunity at the end to go ahead and explain their format and kind of where they're at in their positions and how they're going to be the best candidate for you to vote for. Yep. So after we get started, we'll give each candidate 2 minutes. When we go, Scott will let us know when the time's getting close. Like I said, this is real informal, so just be professional, and we'll all get along. So we'll start first with Mr. Corey Behrens.
Hi there.
Yeah, get a microphone right there. You don't have to stand up. I just like to because I like to talk.
Yep. Hi there, I'm Corey Behrens. This is about I'm married 17 years, have 2 kids, Trevin and Caden. This is my fourth, stand up, yep. This is my 4th year in the park. I grew up in the area, lived indoor my whole life. Currently, I am a lead weld engineer at JR Automation, so I program automation equipment, laser welders. This is really our happy place. It's where we spend our summers. This is what we try to spend every day out here as much as possible, but so what I'm after, we want to continue to make this our happy place and have it grow and be better.
Thank you, Corey. Colin?
Hello. Hey everyone, I'm Colin Giebel. My wife and I, Shauna, we bought in 2022, and it's the best decision that we ever made. 2 of my 4 children were actually full-term pregnancies out here that my wife successfully completed. If you ever see our red golf cart going around, I'm sure you hear all 4 of my kids hooting and hollering. For my experience, I was a water engineer in the Marine Corps. With that, I did a lot of long-term planning, large site development, and I served on a lot of safety committees. Currently, I work for the largest pharmaceutical site in North America. It's approximately 1,300 acres, so a site this size is no stranger to me. I've been a part of many capital investment projects, cost-saving initiatives, and critical infrastructure planning, which is something that I'm very passionate about around here. Just to briefly hit on something, I know that we all get tired of power outages when we have family over on holidays. That's something that I'm very interested in. I've done a number of real estate ventures. I'm very into return on investment and cost analyzation. I think that's something that we could do a lot better around here. And I understand the importance of timing. I know a lot of people around here, they probably wish that they would have built 16 houses before 2022, and they could now sell them. I'm running because I have a young family. A lot of the other members, my wife and I's age, they're in the same situation. It's kind of the old taxation without representation. We'd like to get more people like us involved in decision making. I'm a firm believer in the elephant method. No problem is too big as long as you just take it one piece at a time. And around here, I don't think with the resources that we have, around 2,000 sites and 4,000 members, there's only opportunities and no challenges.
Excuse me, you have a handout from, so we can,
Hold on, we'll get through it. They're just giving us their elevator speech, and then we'll be able to talk to them all, so yep.
And then to close, I'd just like to say that the park's largest asset is not the lake or any structure on site, it's the membership. Thank you.
Jill.
All right. Not good with technology. Okay, hello? Okay. Hi, I'm Jill. Nice to meet you all. I don't know how to take this apart. My name is Jill Grung, and I am a retired CPA. I worked my career in public accounting as an auditor. So my background has always been focused towards the financial side of things, and that's where my interest will lie if elected to your board. I think that there could be some cost savings. I want to look into that. Maybe not, but maybe. In the short time I've been here, this is only my second year at Sandy Pines, I've talked to a lot of people. And by the way, I encourage you to stop by my site at K259. I'm here all summer, every day, and voice your concerns and comments. But in the short time I've been here at Sandy Pines, I've heard about a lot of inconsistencies in the rules and regulations that are applied. That's another one of my focuses. Yes, I've heard things secondhand and thirdhand, but I've heard about several incidents direct from the people involved, and I encourage you to come to my site and talk to me about it. I don't want to point any fingers in an open forum, but I will talk about it candidly, K259. And I live here full time. I'm, not afraid to voice my opinions and comments, and, I think I'm the best candidate for your board.
Thank you. Laura?
Do I have to take this out? Is this working? Hi, my name is Laura Hires, and I am retired. I've been retired for 2.5 years, well, 3 come November. And I have lived in this area for the last, say, 35 years of my life. We bought, in 1996, we bought a house on the Lake Monterey Golf Course. And 35 years ago, you should have seen what it looked like compared to what it looks like today. It is beautiful. Sandy Pines has grown. I have watched it grow from the inside, the outside, and all the members. We have been in Sandy Pines since 2017. We no longer own our house on the golf course. But this community has grown. Growing up, I'll start. I am married. My husband has 2 children. We have 4 grandchildren, and all of us have enjoyed the amenities of the park. We have lived here since 2017. We started out in a travel trailer just to see how that was going to work, and that year my husband had leg surgery, and it's either the travel trailer was going to go because he couldn't move, or we were going to expand, and we decided to expand, and we have met so many nice people, faith-driven people, and really good people that just driving around smile and say hi. And in some communities, you do not find that. I think our biggest asset is our lake. Of course, our membership is an asset, but we have to have the amenities for the members to want to come in. As a homeowner years ago, we did have some issues with not Sandy Pines itself, but the way the water flows around here and down the hills and stuff like that. And I think that is a continual concern that we need to look at what's going on our lake. Do we have the water? Do we not have the water? Anyways, I will stop now, but I thank you for everybody coming. You can read my bio. You can ask me anything you want. Thank you.
Thank you. Kelly?
Good morning. My name is Kelly Johnson. My wife Leslie and I have been members here since 2013, and we have 3 grandchildren. And if I have to leave really quick today, it's because my son is going to bless us and my daughter-in-law with our first grandson. So I'm patiently waiting for the phone call. But anyways, if I have to leave. I served the previous 2 terms, other than this year, on the board of directors. I served the last 3 as the chairman of the board, or vice chair of the board, and totally enjoyed it. My friends asked me, well, before I get too far into it, I want to say thank you to Paul and Ellen and Bob, who I'm sure is watching on the live, for the service they gave as board of directors. I don't think a majority of the members really understand the time and commitment that the board puts in and the energy that they give. And for what they did, they deserve a round of applause, and I say thank you for being a good teammate. So my friends asked me, Kelly, why are you running again? I mean, didn't you enjoy the time off? I said, well, yeah, I did, but honestly, I love being involved. I couldn't think of anything better than to try to get back on the board again, because the board is a team that gathers information. We listen to the members, and we look in to see what is possible to do and what's not possible to do. 10 seconds. So I'm going to get more of my speech in with some of the questions that hopefully I get asked. But thank you for coming. I'm just asking you for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Mindy?
Okay. Hi there. I'm Mindy Vashaw. My husband and I have been associate members since 2006. We were associate members. My in-laws were here. And then after they sold, when my father-in-law got ill, we came out and became transient campers after that. And then we retired in 2000. In 2020, we retired. Not in 2000, we were just having kids. In 2020, we retired, and we bought here in 2022, so we officially became members in 2022. So we love Sandy Pines. We've been out here for a while in all different capacities, so I feel like we have empathy for associate members, we have empathy for transient campers, and now we have empathy for owners as well, so we fit into a lot of those different categories. If you want a very detailed plan of what I envision, I encourage you to go to my website, which is mindyvashaw.com, where I've gone through and I've laid out a couple different things. I've put my bio in there, which includes the legal advocacy that I've done, the work that I've done in different organizations throughout Michigan for different types of freedom of choice, as well as when it comes to health, and as well as the Chevron deference that I became very familiar with, which is something that I think would be very key to some of the issues that we're facing here, that we have that legal ability in our back pocket. I've done work with recreational municipalities. I've done franchise work and served on multiple different committees and steered our company of 30 years, which we have now worked with passing that torch on to our kids and learning how to bring in the second generation of business. If you go to my website, you'll see my views on transparency, a recreation redesign, rulebook consolidation, environmental impact, our FEMA partnership, and infrastructure. And I'm sure we'll get into more of that as the questions come up, but please feel free to visit my website. You can click on email me, and I can answer any questions that you might have as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we'll take the opportunity for anyone in the audience that would like to ask questions. Please go up to the mic up there, make sure it's on, and ask your question, and give us your name and site number so we can, if we have further questions, we can ask them. And we'll give each member candidate an opportunity to respond to the question. So go ahead.
Ellen Carpenter, site 1073. It seems that transparency is a concern. What I'd like to know is, in this day of social media, how will you improve transparency and communication using official channels of communication?
Thank you. And we'll start, go ahead, Corey, you can start.
I'm starting?
Corey.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
My thoughts on using the official, I mean, I think Sandy Pines with the rave alerts, they work well, but there are other programs out there that give members access to go to one page, one area, and it would be like a digital forum, or not forum, but digital format that you can click on and see all activities in the park, calendars, things like that. I know that we have the internet, the members forum, things like that, but it's hard with Facebook, with Instagram. I mean, people are going to go wild on there, but when we talk about the transparency, like CC's being closed, I think that there should be, if it's closed for a reason, let the members know, send a rave alert sooner than later, instead of let members get on Facebook and find out, oh, why is this closed? It seems like there's a delay in that at times.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Colin, and you don't have to answer if anybody doesn't want to. You know, if it's all been said, we'll just give everybody an opportunity. So go ahead, Colin.
I would just like to champion on the back of what Corey said. I completely agree with everything that he mentioned. The only thing that I could add is I think that the PSOs themselves should have an opportunity that they can interject opinions or live updates from the park, because they're usually the ones first on scene and they know what's going on firsthand. This day and age with social media, there's how many countless Facebook groups. You know, people, like Corey said, are going to go wild on there. You just have to use your best discernment and know that those Facebook groups are not official Sandy Pines, except for the official Sandy Pines page. That's really all I have to add to that. Well said, Corey.
Jill?
These ideas mentioned are very good ideas, but I think we also need to maybe have a session to discuss other, like brainstorming ideas about how we can communicate better, but we have to keep the cost factor always in the forefront of our mind. We don't want to add additional costs to the park. So, but communication is ultra important, and I can't really add to that because I think those are fabulous ideas.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, Lara?
As far as transparency and communication, I believe in transparency, and I do believe we need to have communication. I have never really thought that we did not have bad communication. I feel that opinions in the social media, which have escalated to things that are not true, and maybe some of the information is true, but overall it's somebody's opinion. I think Sandy Pines has done a wonderful job at keeping us posted on weather storms, or why this is closed and why that's closed. And in something like that, if the system's not broken, why do we need to reinvent it? That's just my personal opinion.
Kelly?
7 years ago, Ellen and myself and Brian Elling ran, and on our, I don't want to say agenda because it wasn't an agenda, but one of our goals was to increase and get better communication. And I truly believe, with Ian's help in the back, that the communications is greatly improved. I think the issue we have is we haven't really maybe done enough to educate the members on how to use the portal, because all that information that everybody's talked about is available on the portal for you to look at. So maybe that's an area we need to improve on. Even we can do a video type to post on there so you can walk through to learn how to use it. Communication's been, and transparency is what we've strived to get better at, and I think it has gotten better. I get on social media, and I've made myself available. My site's always, my phone number's out there, emails. But the social media tends to focus on what's the negative, and it blocks out the truth. The board of directors have their own, we have our own website, or not website, but email, and we welcome all the email you want to send us to get an honest answer for things that we can bring out. Not everything we can discuss because there are private things that go on that is not for the general public, but anytime you have questions, write us, write the board of directors. Especially, that's how we communicate a lot of it during our board meetings, is we take those emails that we
Go
receive
ahead
from
and wrap
you.
it up, Kelly.
Thank you. He said he was going to do this to me all day.
Give Mindy an opportunity to respond.
I think I come from a little bit of a different view on this, and being a business owner, one of the things that we do is we embrace social media because it can make such a significant difference in transparency and communication. And I know that one of the things that you can do to get ahead of it is to embrace it and to utilize it. And I think some of the transparency things that keep coming up and the things that I keep hearing, one of the things that I noticed when I first started getting involved in committees and appointed boards and bureaucratic organizations is that when you do all of your decision making and all your talking and going through all those types of things behind closed doors and you come to a meeting and you just vote, then people feel like you're hiding something. And what you're trying to do ultimately is show that you're a unified board coming forward. But one of the victims of that is that people think you're hiding something. So maybe we go back to having some of those discussions a little bit more publicly so that they can see that we've looked at things and we've hashed things out. And we may not always agree, and that's good. We shouldn't all have the same qualifications. We shouldn't all have the same background, and we shouldn't all have the same opinions. That's what will make a healthy board, is if all aspects of that are looked at together.
Thank you. Next question, please, from the audience.
My name's Daryl Dyes, N98. Just curious, what are your positions on how boat stakes should be administered or distributed after a site is sold?
Okay, let's start with Colin.
Can you repeat
so after it, so after,
really hear that.
so when a site is sold or transferred, how should a boat stake that's with that site be distributed? What's your position on that?
My position on that is somebody who honestly bought into the park, and my wife and I feel that we were hoodwinked into thinking that the boat stake waiting list was shorter than what it is. Kind of actually rubbed us the wrong way. I think there could be a better way to do the boat stakes. One of my opinions is, and people might not agree with me, but I think that if a membership can be bought and sold, and I don't even know if this is possible, I'd have to clarify it, but I don't understand why a boat stake, if somebody does not want it, cannot be relinquished for a value to somebody else that wants to utilize it. I know of countless boat stakes in the park that haven't had boats on them in years, which is infuriating to somebody with young kids that would like to learn how to water ski and tube. So if somebody could relinquish their stake for, let's say, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, that might actually get the needle to move. And if there's a transfer fee for the boat stake to the park, that's another area of revenue that the park can make money. The idea that people hang on to the boat stake because it makes your place more valuable, I completely understand. But if you love your neighbors and you love your location and you don't utilize the stake, I think that there's other ways we could go about it.
Thank you. That's a very specific question, so let's just, is there anybody else that would like to answer? We don't need to go down the whole line, but if anybody has anything they'd like to add, please jump in. If not, we'll move on to the next question. Hearing none, the next question, please.
I'll answer that question.
Okay, go ahead.
We bought a lot that had a boat stake, and we were just looking for a lot that we could put our fifth wheel on. But the boat stake was such a huge bonus, and so we bought a boat. Now our kids are skiing and they're wakeboarding. And one of the things that I think that we didn't get out on the lake here, we've been coming since 2006 until 2022. And so one of the things that I think that would be so cool and a revenue generator for us would be to do something like start a ski club, a beginning ski club. You know, if we had volunteers who own boats and we could start teaching kids how to tube and ski and wakeboard, I think that would be a really neat activity we could add. And possibly that the park could start to generate revenue from pontoon boats, evening, you know, sunrise and sunset pontoon boat rides, that kind of a thing, to give a little bit more access to people who can't afford a boat, people who don't want to be a boat owner, those types of things. We're probably missing out on an opportunity to generate revenue as well as an opportunity for members to be able to get on the lake that wouldn't otherwise be able to do that.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Can I make a comment
Yep.
on the boat stake?
Okay, no one wanted it, now everybody
I know.
wants it, so go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just will make one quick comment. Okay, as I said before, we bought in 2017, and our lot, we're an inlander, I guess that's what you call us, sort of, but that doesn't make any difference to me. We did not have a boat stake. Our name went on the list. And finally, this year, we went the correct procedure, we got a boat stake. So yes, it did take a long time to get the boat stake, and I don't know if there was any confusion in the admin office or with my husband dealing with it or with I dealing with it, that I don't know. But we went the proper procedure, and I don't think a lot of the people will hold on to their boat stakes because it does make their property a little bit more valuable. And I think if they're willing to relinquish, there's nobody that wants to relinquish, because it took us 8 years to get a boat stake, which we got a boat stake, and now we have a boat, but the water's low. So anyways, I think the procedure that we do have is a good procedure, but there could be maybe things looked at that maybe we could do a little bit better job, because yes, 8 years was a little bit long for a boat stake, but we did it the way we were supposed to.
Okay, now, thank you. This young lady's been waiting, so go ahead with your question.
Hi, Kay Brokaw from D86. And I was reading your proposals, and I think it's fabulous, because it won't affect me too much, except for paying for it. But figuring out a way to get from like the chapel to 2, so we could make a continuous circle. I do live in Phase 6, and like especially on Sunday mornings, but so much, anytime almost, the traffic is horrendous, having to go all the way from 3 all the way around. And you try to back up and you think, oh, I'm set, and then somebody's coming from the other way. But I think it would really be advantageous to the park that if we could have a complete circle. Did you have anything in mind for how to accomplish that?
So I don't. I just know that I've talked to a lot of people who have been out here a lot longer than I have, and they said there used to be an opportunity and a way to do it previously. So I don't know if it was a legal way. I don't know if they were on the road. I don't know any of those answers, but I know from being on social media that somebody named Don put a lot of work into that. So I'm hoping I can reach out to him and see if maybe a fresh look would look at something like that. The only thing not being able to go from Phase 3 to the ice cream shop has done for me very quickly is it saved me some calories. Because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to drive all that way in the golf cart. But I could have more calories and eat more ice cream if I could quickly and easily get there. So I do end up jumping in the car sometimes when I need to quickly get to the admin office, and I'm not on the golf cart as often. And I do think we could alleviate some traffic as well. Here's the thought process I'm taking on it right now, and I don't know everything I need to know. There's a lot of exploration that needs to happen. Michigan Snowmobile Association has 6,500 miles of trails that people ride on every winter. Half of those are on private property. So they do negotiations with private property owners for a right-of-way for trail. Maybe we take something like that. There's different ways possibly we could look at it. Maybe it needs a fresh look. Maybe it's a dead horse that already was a dead horse, but I'm willing to do the footwork to see if it's possible. And if it's not, then I can come back and say, hey, it's not possible. Here's why. This is all my documentation. So the next time somebody starts this, they can start from this point instead of going all the way back to the beginning again. So which is what I'm hoping to do with Don as well.
My thought was a bridge.
Oh, I'm sure everybody would love another bridge.
Okay, you got another question or comment? Or we could talk about bridges all day long.
Just one, well, I have just one other thing, talking about the internet thing. Like, I was trying to register a person. I don't do them that often to come visit me. And I had to call the guard shack twice. And there's a little square button that you have to click. But it doesn't say anything by the square button what you're even supposed to do, like click here to make reservations for somebody coming. If that could be updated somehow, I think it'd make us older people a little bit more able to go through.
User-friendly.
Great, that's something we can pass along for the existing staff to look into, not necessarily. Okay, any other questions? Go ahead and go up to the microphone. State your name, your site number, and ask your question.
Can you hear me? I've never done this before, so.
Oh, you're okay, just talk right
Hello?
into it. Yep, you're good.
Okay. My name is Dawn, and I'm in Phase 5, K108, I think. This is only my second season here. My husband would be here, but he works. He had to work today. He works part-time at Park and Garden. So I don't know his questions. I just texted him if he wanted me to ask any questions, but I have 2 questions of my own I think that he wanted me to ask. And it's about our boat stake. So we have a pontoon boat, shoot, I just lost my train of thought. Sorry, I have a short-term memory. Hang on. Okay, well, let me ask about the building permit. Okay, so we're building a deck, and he got the building permit, but he's doing it himself. And, oh, forget it. I can't remember his questions. I
Okay,
gotta wait
well,
till he texts me back.
When you think of it, send it to us. If it's something for the existing staff, you can address them. If this is specifically asking how the board, the candidates would address an issue, but either way, just let us know and
I'm
we'll make sure we
sorry.
can get it answered.
I
Yep.
didn't mean to waste your time.
You're not wasting my time. I got to
Okay.
be here all day, so you're
Well, he
you're
would have
welcome
been
to
here
join
if he
me.
didn't have to work, so thank you.
I just want to say that the park inspector on the permits would gladly take your phone call on it at any time. Well, he's a gentleman and sitting in the back. But he'll give you all the assistance you need on what you need to do with permits.
Good. Thank you. This is Meet the Candidates, so let's keep it moving. We only got an hour. We'll stay as long as we need to, but this isn't for general day-to-day questions. This is for stuff that you want to know. No, you're fine. It's perfect. You're fine. Go ahead, sir. You're next.
Hello, my name is Brian St. Ange. I am site 7026. Does anybody up here not know where Phase 7 is? Raise your hand. Everybody knows Phase 7? Okay, good. So one question I have is, do you candidates think that we should encourage children to put gum on the rocks over the bridge? I'm kidding. Totally kidding.
Absolutely not.
Just kidding.
Sorry.
No. My question is serious. So I've read all your bios, and I've heard you guys talk about the budget, line items of former CPA, things like that. I'd like to know if you have gone to and looked at our annual budget or any of our budgets, all the line items, and looked at them thoroughly to see, like, the income, the revenue that the park takes in, what we have. As you're talking about, well, we need to look at these things, and maybe we can, maybe we can't. I would hope that you've done this already before trying to get on board. So that's my question. Have you guys looked at that?
I'll answer that.
Hold on. We're going to start down here.
Okay.
So go ahead. You start first, Laura.
Have I looked at the budget line by line? No, I have not. But I have attended the board meetings over the last couple of years, or the board meetings, and I know a little bit where we're at. I do have financial background because I am the treasurer of the National Association of Postal Supervisors, Branch 130, Grand Rapids, and I understand where there is money coming in, where we need to make more coming in to look at this and look at this and look at this. Not being on the board, no, I do not know all the details on what is planned and where the money will be going. So I think once I would have all the information, I could make a much better statement than I am making at this time.
Jill?
No, I have not looked at the financial statements in detail. I have attended board meetings and listened to the presentations. It is impossible to garner the necessary information at this standpoint, being an outsider, not on the board, to develop, a detailed analysis, but I look forward to looking at them in the future.
Kelly?
Being on the board for the last 6 years, I've been fortunate enough to have a financial officer in Ms. Kimberly who provides the board with excellent information, enough information for that we're able to make decisions what's best for the park. But it's not only Kimberly. They have a committee of members who volunteer that all have financial backgrounds that reviews everything that Kimberly is presenting to us, and they're asking the questions that maybe I'm not a financial expert, but we have experts. So it's just not one person. We have 9 other committee members who do nothing but review those financials to make sure it's the best proposals gone forward. So have I looked at the line items? I look at the budget. Do I understand it all? No, I'm not an expert, but I'm confident enough as a member that I trust what that committee and what Kimberly brings forth to us at our meetings.
Colin?
Brian, line by line, no. I do understand economics and how they work. I think around the park, there's a lot more ways that we could generate revenue. Lost my train of thought here. Awkward.
No, you're fine. If you don't have anything, we'll go to Mr. Behrens.
We'll move on.
Line by line, no, I have not looked at it. I know that I've attended and watched many of the board meetings over the last 4 years that I've been on or been in the park. But I would love to take a look at it. It just seems to be, I mean, kind of hard to get that information as far as being an outsider, not being on the board. But
All right, Mindy.
Sorry, can I get back?
Oh, go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
Sorry,
No, you're
sorry,
fine.
sorry. What I was gonna say is I do believe in good economics, and just my opinion is I think we need to take care of our existing infrastructure before we talk about adding hot tubs or anything crazy that would be new projects and groundbreaking. I know that might not be a popular opinion, but I understand there is major issues with the lake, and there is also some well issues going on. So I think those issues need to be addressed first before any frills take place. So
Okay,
that was my
now,
train of
Mindy,
thought.
go ahead.
I have looked at the budget, and I've looked at the larger numbers, and I've had some discussions. I've actually called an accounting firm that works very closely with municipalities, which I think is one of the closest ways to look at Sandy Pines, is we're kind of a mini city here. So when you look at different things that municipalities do and how they go through things and what their percentages are, obviously we're more of a resort community. We're not, you know, a bedroom community or anything like that. But I have gone through and had some round discussions about the percentages and those types of things. Unfortunately, because we don't have access to true financials, they're very roundabout discussions, because we're not really getting into the meat and digging into it to see, you know, are there cost savings places that we should we be investing differently in fund equity? Should we be doing certain things differently to set ourselves up, or is everything perfect? I couldn't tell you that because I don't have access to the right information. And I think Jill spoke on that pretty well, that she would need to be able to dig in to see that. This is kind of the glaze over, you know, you're going to go get pre-approved for, you know, an acquisition. That's the kind of financial statement you would send. And then as soon as they're like, you're pre-approved, but you're going to acquire something, okay, now we need to really see it. So we are at the pre-approval spot right here that we have access to, and what we really need to get is to the, okay, now are you really going to cash flow, and is this going to work? So we need to get to that point. Other than Kelly, I don't think any of us would have had access to that. And maybe that's something that we change, that we look at how can people see more line item things. I know that there are employees here that are very nervous about that, and I've had a couple come to me and say, when you say financial transparency, what do you mean? Is everybody going to know what I make? And there's a lot of really great ways to protect employees and what they make, and put a range out there and still have transparency.
Any other questions, Brian?
I just have one quick
All right, one more
question. So this isn't about budgets, but I assume you guys all have looked at our bylaws and you understand how the bylaws work in the park. The board of directors oversees rules and things like that. The park president, he is in charge of day-to-day operations, right? So my question to all of you is, one, do you think Jeff Schweitzer is doing a good job? And yes or no, and then just a brief statement of why you say yes or no. That's it.
Thank you. All right, so who wants to go first? Go ahead, Kelly.
Well, if you're asking if I think Jeff Schweitzer is doing a good job, I wholeheartedly support Jeff and his whole staff. There's a lot of things that go on in this park. We've had a lot more improvement. We're more stable than we've been for a long time. Do I agree with everything? No. And that's why I enjoy being a boss because, well, not a boss, but I am his boss as a group. And we're able to question him on things that we have concerns about. And he does follow us. I mean, he does follow our directions. And the board as a whole makes those decisions. So it's just not one person. But do I support Jeff? Wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Jill?
I currently am not in a position to really evaluate Jeff's performance. I do not have access to his performance reviews. The interaction I personally had with him, or the job that I, generally see he doing is, certainly satisfactory. But those people who report about him and his job performance would be documented on his, job performance reviews. And therefore really can't say other than my vague observation that he and his staff are doing a fabulous job. I personally don't have any complaints and haven't heard any complaints from the general public, you guys, about that topic.
Thank you. Laura?
Is Jeff doing a good job or not? I do believe Jeff is doing a good job. I do also believe we all have human error. And to make as many people in this park happy, that is totally impossible. Now, what Jeff, I believe, I've talked to Jeff a couple times and long conversations. I think for the general safety of our park, I think he does an excellent job. His hands might be tied because that we are a recreational facility and there are rules and regulations, which I do believe in rules and regulations, that we do need to follow. I am not a yes man. I don't always agree with the board that I've been on before or on currently, but I think disagreement on a board is strong. It gives different opinions, it brings out thoughts, it brings out ideas, but at the end of the day, you are on the board, you are a whole, and you agree to agree, and that's how you roll on
Perfect.
board, on
Thank
the
you.
boards. So
Mindy.
yes, I do think he's doing a good job.
I would never give someone a job review when I haven't had the opportunity to give them the benefit of the doubt of a review or more conversations. What I can tell you is two of the reasons that I'm running, and this may have nothing to do with Jeff, it may have everything to do with the board. It may not have anything to do with the board, it might have to do with Michigan legislation, but the whole two reasons that two of the main reasons that I'm running is, number one, I feel like when we made these big changes that cost members tens of thousands of dollars with slider doors and extra porches and all that kind of a thing, I think we did that based on fear. And we didn't gather the information properly, and we didn't know what all of our legal abilities were. We looked at a rule, not legislation, not law. So I think that before we made those big steps, one of the things that we should have done was hire somebody who is familiar with the Chevron
Okay, this was
deference.
specific to, do you think Jeff's doing a good job? So let's
So
move
it's
it
hard
along.
for me
We're
to
not
say
in-
that, but the Chevron deference and the porches is one reason I'm running, and the other reason I'm running is how the whole pool incident last year was handled. And I don't know if that was a Jeff thing or a board thing, but the pool, the glasses, all the bags, all that kind of a thing, I just don't like how that was handled. That was another reason why I'm running.
All right, thank you. Corey?
I mean, the times that I've dealt with Jeff, I think that he is doing a very good job. I mean, as far as for the size of the park and what we have here and the board, and I think that overall he does do a good job. He does get information out in the meetings and keep the meetings running along. I've dealt with him in the office a few times, talked to him. But yeah, overall, I think he's doing a good job.
Thank you. Colin?
Every time I've had a run-in with Jeff, I would say he's done a good job. I can only attest to my experience. I would never put hearsay for somebody's job performance. If somebody does have a grievance, I would say bring it up through the proper channels. And if those proper channels do not exist, that is something as the board that we can work on. So that way there is a procedure if you feel like somebody such as the park president is not doing a good job.
Thank you. Go ahead, young lady. Your next question.
Boy, I've been up here a while. I think I've forgotten my question. My question is, and I hear people often comment, you know, someone will get critiqued or be cited for moss on their house, and yet next door it hasn't been mowed in 3 years. Some of these sites are deplorable. What can be done? I don't know all the legal ramifications. I know at one time that they went in and said, hey, you're not cleaning it, we're going to clean it up and bill you. But then I think there was something about trespassing, and I don't know what the whole situation is. But we need to find another avenue to make these people accountable for their sites.
Thank you. Was that a question specifically, or is
Yes.
it just a general comment?
How would you handle? I mean, do
There you
you
go.
have any information on that? You know.
Yeah, name and site number, please, so Larry's got the
Oh,
record
I'm
going.
sorry. Nancy Klinsky, K506.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
That has been a major issue every year, and I think I love doing the scavenger hunts. And so as I'm driving around, I've seen a very noticeable difference this year in how the sites are being taken care of. Are they all done? No, they're not. But the staff we have in the inspections are in the inspector's office, and I think our PSOs are involved in the fact that when they're making their rounds, they'll look at sites that they may feel might not be acceptable views, and they'll make the inspector's office aware of that, and then they follow up. I do know that a lot more action has been taken and handed out this year, and there's a procedure as far as the steps that you go in handling those situations. But I appreciate what the inspector's office done this year, because I have seen a major difference. But you're correct that those members should not have to look at that.
Okay, in the
Thank
fairness
you.
of time, we got about 10 minutes. I mean, we can definitely go over, but we still got a lot of stuff to cover. So thank you for your question. Does anybody else want to make a quick comment on that? We don't need a 10-minute dissertation.
I'd like to have a comment on that.
Go ahead.
That's one of the things that I feel is inconsistent around here. I don't know how the process is exactly handled, but one thing I'd like to piggyback on that thought process is that anyone getting a ticket, or for their site or driving, there should be a process in place to allow a warning system instead of just being applied the ticket and the points immediately. There's a possibility that somebody could have hired a vendor to clean up their site the very next day, but the previous day they got a ticket and some points against them. So that's one of the things that I would be looking into. I applied for the Rules Committee. It was full, so I thought I would run for the board. So
Thank you. Well, yeah, any of them, get on what you can. Perfect.
I would piggyback on that and just say.
Sometimes they're called friendly reminders on the ticket. That just because it's a ticket doesn't mean that it's not a ticket in a sense that everybody says, oh my gosh, I got a ticket. But all right, real quick, we're not going to be 15
I would just piggyback
minutes.
on that and say warnings are very nice to get first, so you have the opportunity.
Thank you. Go ahead, young lady.
Lynn Lyle from K68. I just have a question on, and I would like your opinion. I'm not for it or against it, but I just want your opinion. When we have somebody that comes in to buy something, like a couch, and we can't meet them someplace because the couch is too heavy and it won't fit on my golf cart, we get charged for them to come in. On a $25 couch, I was charged $10 for this person to come in and buy this couch. I think personally that's ridiculous. They're not using any amenities. I went down, let them in, and then I followed them out to show them the way out, so I know they didn't use a thing. Second part to that question is, if we have a home for sale, and again, it's the same thing, if that person wants to come in and look at that home for sale by owner, not through the park, we have to pay a fee to let them come in and look at this house, plus they may go on and look at several others, but we were charged the fee. Again, I think that's ridiculous. There should be a way that they can come in and say, we're looking at this house, and this house, and not have to pay a fee. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Anybody want to comment real quick on that? Just at the operational issue, but if it's something that a policy can be changed or what your position is, go ahead. Go ahead, Jill.
Okay. I totally agree that there should be a policy in place and consistently applied. I, for example, came into this park to look at places, and I was not charged. The homeowner was not charged. I also, after I did buy in, was allowed to just come in with a vendor. Sometimes I had to pay, sometimes I didn't have to pay. So, again, it's the consistency of a policy that is not being applied.
Thank you. Good thing it's not retroactive. I think it was $10. You said you've been here 2 years, so we won't talk about collecting that. But anybody else got a comment on that? If not, we'll take another question because we are running on time.
Hi, I'm Sandy Neese, Site 134. This is my second year. Other than your fiduciary duties to Sandy Pines and the membership on the board, who do you feel, each one of you, who do you feel you actually represent when going to a vote?
I didn't catch that question, I'm sorry.
She wants to know who do you represent if you're elected to the board. I think I'm not putting words in your mouth, but
perfect.
you know, she's wanting to say, well, I represent the membership. I represent the president. I represent Rick. I think he's the best thing. You
When
know.
voting.
But so right.
When you
so
make
when
a
you
vote
cast
on
a
the
vote,
hard
whose
votes.
interest do you have at heart?
It
what
is
she's
definitely the park population that we all
saying.
represent.
Perfect. And these are going to be quick ones. It's yes or
Yeah,
who.
same with me. What's for the best
What do you
interest
mean
of
by
2,100
population?
members?
Sorry, what do you mean by population?
The membership.
Thank you.
I'd like to address that. I tried to be very clear and concise about what my views were. I would vote my views so that if you're voting for me and you agree with what's on my website and how I'm doing things, that's how I'll represent.
Perfect.
If I get that vote and I win, I know I have enough of a majority of people behind me to be able to do that properly.
All right, we got keep rolling, so we got time for an elevator speech.
My opinion is, I mean, it's my views, but it's also what's best for the park and what's best for the membership in the park.
Yes.
If you are a member in good standing, you deserve 100% representation.
Thank you.
Laura, you're the only one we haven't heard from.
It's Laura. I also.
Laura.
Yes, it's Laura.
Got
Thank
it.
you. I'm sorry. I basically represent the membership and the park. The park for its 50 years forward, the membership to continue to have people want to live here. So I guess that is what, the membership and the park.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Pat Duzema, Phase 1, Site 4. I am a current board member. I've been on many other boards over the years. I want to make one quick statement, then I have two questions that are just a yes or no answer needed. All the talk about the budget and the numbers, it is on the website. Maybe we do need training for it, but it's all out there, all of it. My question is, when we bought into this park 4 years ago, my husband and I began to, if not in attendance, watch every board meeting on YouTube. We also have read this every single month since we became in the park. My question is, have each of you, I'm not going to say 100%, but have each of you, yes or no, faithfully followed the footprints and followed the board meetings? I think the only way to be on the board and be active is to know these things and do this. You can't expect the members to know what's in here if you don't.
Thank you. We'll just start with Mindy. I know it's going to be tough, but just a quick
How do you know me so well
yes
already?
or no.
Yes on the
Say-
YouTube.
yes
Yes on
or
board
no.
meetings.
Go ahead.
No on footprints. I don't read that as religiously as I do watch all of the board meetings.
Yes for both great sources of information.
Yes for both.
Yes and yes.
Mrs. Ayers.
Thank you very much. I have to say yes and no because of the long term that we've been here. I was not involved in the board meetings and stuff like that, but since for the last 3 years, yes, because I do want to know what's going on and I do want to know what the members' issues are. So if I am elected with your support, I will know where to go. Thank you very much.
One quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I have looked at both, and honestly, I can't wait every month for the footprints to come out to see what's updated and what's new.
Okay, because for potential board members and anybody else here, your information's here, and it's the true and straight facts. Please,
Okay,
please read.
5-minute warning, so let's try to get, you got another one? Okay, anybody else that hasn't had an opportunity to ask a question? Go ahead.
A quick one, because I've been reading different things on, I gave it before, but anyway, K. Brokaw, D86. How is the structure for fines set up? I mean, I guess because I'm retired and I'm Dutch, that these fines being $150, $200 and some dollars, no warning, to me.
And again, that's all operational, so your question about how the fines are set up, I mean, there's a process, there's a committee that reviews things, they make recommendations to the board with the input of staff that make those determinations. That's not really, anything for this group, but I mean, if you got a specific question on, how or different than what the actual process is.
My question, I guess, is would you be willing to look into the structure of these fines, because they're outrageous?
Perfect, that's a good question. So that, just real quick, yes, will you? No.
Yes, I'm a big fan of
Thank
warnings
you.
first and setting expectations.
Yep, I think everybody's probably.
Yeah, I think that there definitely should be something looked at, in warnings first and then citations after, but.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yes.
That process definitely has to be looked into.
I will say yes, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sheila. I'm at K204. I've been a member here for, 25 plus years. Mine's all about fun because that's all I'm here for. So what is the change, or what would you add as far as fun in the park? That would be a priority to you if you have that. For one thing, one thing that I have noticed over the years is that we have 3 holidays here. And if you look at all the events, majority of them are just sports. I'm not saying get rid of it. A lot of people like sports, but I would just like there to see other activities for the 3 holidays. So I'd just like to hear any feedback.
Yes, as a father to 4 children, I wholeheartedly agree with you, and that would be one of my main focuses. I think I've said it in my bio. We have a vast resource of the younger crowd here that we could actually pool information from, and we could actually form committees if they're willing to, and we could definitely get the ball rolling on some really good ideas for more stuff for them to do that could come from them. Send it.
I have on my website, mindyvashaw.com, the rec redesign, and we can talk afterwards, but I definitely think we need to split things into a youth group, a youth organization, and an adult organization, and we can utilize our volunteers to create new activities and have a volunteer coordinator, and we can blow the activities out of the water for both weekenders and people here during the week.
Okay.
I've been here, again, for a long period of time, and I don't know about the rest of you, but when I first started, I enjoyed all of these, and as I got older, my chain of thought had changed. But I'm sure Abby would welcome any suggestions that you might have to help her produce a better product, and it has gotten better. She's done a phenomenal job on doing that. So keep in mind, I'm done. Never mind. I'll listen.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Behrens.
Yeah, I think that as far as activities, a lot of it is based around sports, the holiday weekends and stuff. But I think that there is a lot of opportunity to bring even younger kids into that equation that is being missed right now, whether it be bounce houses, whether it be whatever, something for the younger kids to do for more opportunities.
Thank you. Anybody? Go ahead, Jill.
More activities, the better. They should be looked at. Yes, I welcome your contacting Abby, the recreational director, and hashing it out with her. Of course, most of them, they need to be cost effective. We have limited staff and volunteers, but I personally am enjoying everything Sandy Pines this year, and I would be excited to see what could be added to the mix.
I want to say that this was not at all to bash Abby. I think she's great. She's a wonderful young woman. I'm just saying that things seem, like I said, I've been here for so many years that everything's kind of repetitive. Like, let's you know what I mean? Add new things. And I was just using the holiday thing as an example. So, but yes, I do think Abby is great. I think she's wonderful. She's done a lot of things with my umpteen million grandkids.
Thank you. And the value of time here, we got it. Did you want to go ahead? One more comment?
I will say, one thing I do like about this park, that we are a multi-generational park, and there are activities for everybody to do. Do we need to look at the activities maybe every couple of years? Yes, because things change, things grow. The kids are interested in other things. The adults are interested in other things. But we have to remember, all these are volunteer positions. When different activities maybe we don't do anymore, and those volunteers will go over. But it's something that you can always look at to grow. It's not something that has to be changed immediately, but maybe this is outdated and we want to look at something else for the future. So yes, it would be something that would need to be looked at, but I think overall everybody has a wonderful time here.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Deb Peppel, 491. I had a question that would involve a long answer, so I'll skip that one. My question is, and I heard this several years ago at a Meet the Candidate, somebody said, if you vote against your other board members at a meeting, so let's say the vote is 8-1, 7-2, 6-3, and you're on the losing end, how do you now move forward from that vote, knowing that the way you voted is not what you wanted?
Thank you. Go ahead, Kelly. You can start.
I can attest that in our planning sessions where we go over a majority of things, they sometimes get heated because we have directors that think what's for the best interest of the park, and so it's not always yes, sir. I know it appears that way when we come to a meeting, but things are thoroughly discussed in those planning sessions, pros and cons. And we have, we have one board member that I truly love because he gives me the total opposite end of the spectrum on every decision we bring forth and make, and we love it. So the answer to your question, if it's something I don't disagree with, or that I disagree with, and the board decides to go forward and votes it in, you're going to get 100% effort from me to make that a successful decision. However, with that being said, I'm going to measure it myself throughout the year to make sure it does what we think it's going to do. And if it doesn't do what we think we're going to do, then I'm going to bring it up again so that we can make further changes to make it successful.
Thank you. Anybody else want to comment on that?
I'll comment.
Okay, we'll start right here.
As I said earlier, I think it's strong. A board is strong if not all the members agree. I think you need disagreement to bring up other opinions, other ideas. But bottom line, boards that I've been on, and I sometimes wonder about some of the players on the boards that I've been on, you stand as one. You stand as what you're representing and who you were nominated to and the position that you were voted into. The board is one unit, and if you don't agree, okay, maybe you look and see, maybe you finally realize, well, I wasn't really right on that, or you do some more investigation. But the board stands as a board, whether you disagree of the majority vote on the board.
Thank you. Jill?
When you're working through an issue as a group and everyone doesn't agree, they all voice their opinions and reasons and concerns about their position. But even though you might not agree with the final outcome, you're outvoted, you do stand as one. If you don't stand as one, the organization is already representing a fail in that regard, and you don't want to go down that slippery slope. So You might not win all your battles, but you do need to represent the group as a whole. The important thing is to let your voice be known, and I'm not afraid to do that in a group setting.
Thank you. Colin?
I've been in that situation before, and I've found 9 times out of 10 that is due to a lack of understanding. Whether it's one person is the specialist in that area and you understand and nobody else understands, or you just happen to be flat out wrong. But it's important for the board to be cohesive and work together as a unit, and at the end of the day, get the job done and inform the members.
Corey?
Yeah, I totally agree with everything said there. Even if one thing, and my wife hates it, but one thing about me is if I'm looking at buying something or doing something or making a decision, I always do a ton of research and look at reviews and everything else. So I'm going to definitely do that on any topic or any issue or anything that comes up and make my best decision. Now, if it doesn't pass the way I would like, I'm going to embrace that change, embrace that rule, that proposal, and support it 100% with the board and be the one team that we are here to represent.
Thank you. And Mindy?
I have a true north, and I've lost friends over it, and I've lost family over it. I have no problem voting for how I feel I represent the people who have put me in place to do so. I'm not going to have a temper tantrum if I lose a vote. I'm going to acknowledge, I'm going to move on, and I will continue. And it'll be an opportunity where if I need to build a case to bring it, to circle back with it, we can do that. But I'm not going to bring a board to a grinding halt. But I will still vote against something I don't believe in.
Thank you. And looks like last but certainly not least, young man, go ahead.
Thank you for that nice comment. Bruce Hanson, 1335. Just really quick, I mean, there's been talk about some specifics here today. I'm talking about generalities right now. You guys are all up here running for a board position. Okay, currently, I've got the questions that I have. Are you on a committee that's for Sandy Pines right now? If not, what committee would best suit your individual expertise?
Perfect. And that's a good segue. We'll start with Mindy, and then when we get done with this, unless there's anybody that's got a question that's just burning to ask that they got to have an answer to, then we'll go ahead and go into, why they should pick you, and we'll move along. So go ahead and answer his question first.
I've been on committees for years, and I understand the function of them and the reason for them. I feel that my skill set is probably best served, not necessarily as a committee person, but a little bit bigger picture as a board person right now. I'm not afraid to step in and help as a board person with any committee that would need my help. I can tell you that if it comes to structure of a dam, I'm not the best person for that, for sure. But there's plenty of committees that I could totally roll up my sleeves and get my hands dirty to help with.
Go ahead, Corey. We'll just go right down the line.
I previously have spent 6 years on a Lutheran church as the president of the board. And through that, we've spent a lot of time going through a lot of struggles and everything else. But I've looked at many committees to join here at Sandy Pines. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Life has been busy at times, but there's many that I've looked at, the Lake one, the Rules one, but yeah, I just haven't joined yet.
I am not currently on any Sandy Pines committees. I would immediately jump to saying that my background, I would best serve in the lake community. I grew up on a lake. I was a water engineer in the Marine Corps. That is an area that I would feel definitely most comfortable
in. Because of my enjoyment of being a representative of the park, this year I chair the Rules Committee. And I love doing that, and I will vouch for Jill. She has her application in to join my committee when an opening comes forth. I just want to say to the rest of the candidates, if you don't have time to serve on a committee, you don't have time to be a board of director, because it's just not a Friday meeting. It's tons of energy and time that you're putting in that nobody sees. So if you don't have time to be on a committee, honestly, you don't have time to be a board of director.
Thank you. Jill?
Not only did I apply for the Rules Committee, I also applied for the Finance Committee. Not that I wanted to serve on both committees, but I figured if one didn't have an opening, maybe the other one would. And unfortunately, neither one of them had an opening. But that's where my interests lie, and those would be the committees that I'd be interested. However, if a committee is in need of a member, I would certainly be willing and anxious to help in that regard.
Thank you.
Currently, I am not on any Sandy Pines committees. The committee for my background would be finance because I have a lot of education in finance. But I really think my interest is the Rules Committee or the Lake Committee for Sandy Pines because I feel that that is, our lake is our asset, and I feel that that would be something that I would be following through with for information. I am really a good information digger on this and that and stuff like that, and this would be not 100% new to me, but new to me that would give, you know, more than something than just the finance background that I have as it is.
Thank you. It looks like we got one more last question. Go ahead.
Bob Stateman, 5002. I want to ask the committee or the prospective board members. You are about to become a part of a $5 million or a $10 million Sandy Pines operation. Part of that $10 million, less than half of it comes from dues. And when people come in the park and they say, well, we can live at Sandy Pines, pay dues of $2,500, whatever it is, a year, and we're free. Where does the rest of that money come from? It comes from fees. $5 million comes from fees. Everybody uses the park, and the operations of the park ought to be covered by membership fees, or membership costs. People come into the park, think they're going to live here for $2,500 a year. That's not true. So I want to ask the board, would you be open to looking at the membership cost and transferring some fees to the general membership so we can pay for the park because it's aging? Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And we'll start with Mindy. No, you're good. We appreciate your opinion. We'll start right with Mindy. We'll go right
and there's
down the
some
line.
wisdom right there,
That's
right?
right.
He sees what's
Yeah.
coming and what we have that we're going to have ahead of us
Absolutely.
ultimately, right? So there's going to need to be some really creative ways that we go about if 40% of what we have to operate is in dues here. And we keep trying to generate revenue, and we don't want to generate revenue in tickets because that gives people a bad feeling. And we don't necessarily want to generate revenue in other ways because that gives people a bad feeling. So we have some creative work ahead of us that needs to happen. And I will say $2,500. I mean, for our place in Florida, it costs us $20,000 a year just in dues, just to be there. So we know what a gem we have here, and I think that there's a lot of exploration and creative thinking that we can go through to ensure that Sandy Pines is an affordable place for young families and an affordable place for retired seniors, because really that's the demographic that enjoys this park.
Thanks. Go ahead, Mr. Barron.
Yeah, I would agree totally. For what we have here, Sandy Pines is a beautiful place. There's a lot of amenities, the lake, the golf course, everything else. One of the biggest things is the challenge of keeping it on a affordable side for younger families to come in as the demographic is changing. There are a lot of younger families here with young kids, and a lot of them can't afford to pay $10,000, $15,000 a year. So keeping the costs down is always a plus. So that's where we would have to be creative to be able to afford to continue to maintain the park and look at the future of the park and keep it growing.
Thank you. Colin.
I completely agree. As a younger family, I would really not like to see this place go to $20,000 for dues. We would probably be out, to be completely honest. The demographic is changing. It is very important that we bring in new members, that we have campers that we can convert into the membership, and we do not want to scare anybody away with rising costs of dues that are exponential. And I'm sure there's other ways that we can bring revenue to the park. Dues will go up, everything goes up, but there's a lot of creative ways that we can generate income.
Kelly?
That's an excellent question. That was part of my closing remarks I was going to make. When I first got on the board, our dues covered about 42, 43% of the budget, and now it's down to 38%, which means even inflation the re-raise every year is not covering it. And so the board has looked at all the suggestions everybody's making. Where do we come in with that happy medium? In reality, in 2 years we have our consignment, our capital gains is coming due. We've been paying $200 a year out of our annual budget just going to capital. We know that's not going to fit. The park should really, in my opinion, look at rolling some more of that in, do a happy split, but roll some more of and raise the annual dues a little bit to cover some of that, and then continue to operate on what fees we can charge to make it balance and work. Now, the staff, Kimberly, has done an excellent job with the numbers, but I know some members feel we overfee everybody. But if we don't overfee everybody, we're not going to raise that $8 million every year that we need. So that's one thing that I would ask that the board we look at, but it's not up to the board. When we go to bring a resolution to you, it's the membership that has to vote on that. The members have to understand that we need that money to operate, but if we come up with a suggestion, or if the board, not we, if the board comes up with a suggestion of maybe we need to raise the annual dues a little bit and then use the rest of the fees as an offset, that might be a win-win for both. The prices are going to continue to go up. They're not going to come down. But the thing to look at, we talk about vacations. My wife and I enjoy a cruise in the fall. I spend $2,500, a little bit more every year, for 180 days of enjoyment out here. I go on an 8-day cruise from my wife and I, and it costs us $3,000 without airfare. And that's 8 days. So when and if things come available for you to look at, think about it hard, because we want to continue to have what we're given the park and what we have available to everybody, but we can't do it without all of our members taking a little bite of the pain.
Okay, thanks, Kelly. Jill.
Generating more income on your income statement is not just about raising revenue or cutting costs, because when you cut costs, you often cut programs and services, but it's about finding savings in your current financial statement. I'm sure there's going to be some hearty discussions over the coming years. There always is. It's a continuous process about how you can make those three things work together and try to continue the lifestyle we've grown to love here, and continue it to grow.
We all know that our lifestyle, or as we go years by years, the cost goes up on anything. Do I believe in creative thinking? Yes, I do. Do I believe in creative financing? No, I do not. I do not believe that we should be charging fines to generate money. I do believe, from my understanding, there have been numerous warnings going out attached to those fines. I think we have a beautiful place, and I will go back to my comment before, the golf course. In 1996, we moved on Fairway Drive on the 15th fairway. That golf course was absolutely, I'll just go like that. Sandy Pines, our neighbor down the street owned it. Sandy Pines bought it, and look at it now. They have found, through their creative thinking and the board, the administration, the golf course is absolutely beautiful. So I am 100% convinced that if I'm elected to the board, I thank you for your support. Or if I'm not, that the board will make good decisions to continue and grow, and activities for everybody. Thank you.
All right, the moment we've all waited for. So we're going to give everybody 2 minutes, and you're going to give your spiel on why you're the best candidate. Again, there's 3 vacancies, so 3 people will be elected to a 3-year term, and we'll start with Miss Mindy.
My name is Mindy Vashaw. If you would like, oh, you want me to stand up so you can see me? Okay. If you go to my website, you'll see what my thought process is and what I stand for. I will vote that way for you, and I will be honored to serve you in the best possible way that I can. If you don't vote for me, then I completely understand that we weren't aligned and I wasn't aligned with enough people, and that my ideas weren't good enough. So I'm okay either way. But if you do vote for me, I can go forward with the confidence to stick to my true north on that. And I want to thank everybody who came today, because it just shows how important it is to you, and those who sent questions in online, and those who take the time to read through all this. I do think you have really great candidates up here. And I think that Sandy Pines is where it is today because of all the amazing board members who put through all their time prior to us. So I would be honored if I'm someone who is selected to move forward to bring some of my ideas in as well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Corey.
Corey Behrens. First, would like to thank everybody for coming today, asking the questions, trying to understand us and where we stand a little bit more on our thoughts, our processes. I'm here to serve the members, to serve what's best for the future of Sandy Pines. That's what I want. I want my family to grow, my kids to grow into the park and be in the park as well. And that's kind of what we're all here for, to keep the beautiful place that we have, the lake that we have, and grow and make things better for us. If I am voted to the board, if you guys choose to vote me into the board, I'm 100% full in. You'll have my ear, you'll have my full attention to do what's best for everybody. And I would like to thank you guys again.
Thank you. Colin?
Colin Giebel, if you vote for me, I would just like to say thank you. And if you don't vote for me, that's what makes this place great. The members are the voice. There is no giant corporation that's just trying to rake money from this place. I would just like to end with a comment that a member told me, regardless of the politics around here, if you are here, you are blessed. Thank you and have a good day. If you see my family out poker running, say hi.
Mr. Johnson.
I too would like to thank everybody for taking the time out to come in today. And I especially like to thank you for your support and your votes the last 2 elections I was a part of. I can tell you that every decision that I made was based on us getting together and doing what's best for the park, what's best for the membership from now and forever on. I would appreciate your vote again. I love being involved. Thank you again. Thank you.
Jill?
Hi, thanks a lot, everyone, for showing up today. Appreciate your comments and your questions. If you vote me into the board, I want you to know that I will 100% represent the park and the membership. I not only live in the park all summer long, I live locally. I would be here at all the board meetings live and be thoroughly involved. If by some chance I do not have the support, because you got some great candidates up here, I will continue my pursuit in trying to get on the Rules Committee and the Finance Committee. And thank you. Have a great summer, everyone.
Thank you. Mrs. Ayers.
Hi, I will thank you for the 6th time for coming. It's nice to see that we have so many big people turning out. And I have to comment on one other thing. We all are very truly blessed to live here. This place has grown, like I said, for many years. With your support, I will give you my 100% in bringing my ideas to the table, voting what I feel is going to continue the park, grow the park, not have empty lots, keep the lots cleaned up. There's many things that we need to look at, but I feel together We can't make everybody happy, but I think we can sure try to make a lot of people happy. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. And let's have a round of applause for all of the candidates that, everybody that wants to take the time, the energy to make the place better than what we found it. That's kind of the mantra. And you know, no personal agendas, but you're really trying to do what's best. Everybody says the members, but the members is the park. We're all in this together, and if we don't have the infrastructure, then we don't have the people. So again, thank you. I would, again, the footprints, whether it's electronically or you get a copy of it, all the information is in there, the bios, please read it. And again, on behalf of the board, thank everybody for coming and participating. Looks like it's hard to believe. There might be a few cookies left back there, but have a wonderful day. Thank you.